May 14th, 1944. A Luftwaffe pilot banked over Kent and photographed what looked like the largest invasion force in history. Sherman tanks, supply depots, landing craft moored in the Thames estuary. He returned to base. His handlers studied the images and buried everything that contradicted what they already believed. For decades, what those handlers suppressed was locked inside files marked most secret, because the public version of the deception said it worked perfectly. The classified version is different. One man, recruited by London, handed Berlin the exact truth at the exact moment they needed it most. Timed to the minute. British intelligence sealed those records for 30 years. They didn't want this story told, because once you understand what that man actually did and why London authorized it, it raises a question that still has no clean answer. How close did a perfect lie come to destroying the very operation it was built to protect? It was a calculation. The Germans knew an opposed amphibious landing would be catastrophic, but only if the Panzers arrived fast enough. Rommel had written it plainly in his operational notes. Kill the invasion on day 1, before a bridgehead forms. Germany had 10 Panzer divisions staged behind the northern coast of France. The Allies had no counter for armoured reserves arriving in force within 24 hours. The math was simple and brutal. The beaches could be taken. The counterattack could not be stopped, not by force. So the plan was never to fight them. The plan was to give them something better to wait for. By 1943, every German intelligence agent operating in Britain was writing Berlin's letters for them. MI5's 20 Committee had turned the entire network. Not some of it, all of it. German agents sent dispatches to handlers in Hamburg and Madrid, collected their Abwehr paychecks, and fed Berlin a reality that London scripted line by line. The most valuable asset was a Spaniard named Juan Pujol Garcia. His code name was Garbo. He had approached British intelligence in 1942 and offered his services. By 1944, he had invented an entire roster of fictional sub-agents across Britain. He filed weekly reports to his handlers in Hamburg. They promoted him. They trusted him. They had no idea his sources did not exist. Brutus, Tricycle, Treasure. Other turned agents filed fabricated order of battle data. German 15th Army intelligence officers correlated these reports with aerial reconnaissance and reached a single confirmed assessment. The main Allied blow would fall at Pas-de-Calais, the shortest crossing, the most direct route to Germany. The intelligence officers of Army Group B had told Hitler. The 15th Army had deployed 19 divisions on that assessment. They had staked their professional credibility on Calais. They could not untell him. This is where George Patton becomes a weapon. Not a commander, a weapon. The 1st United States Army Group, designation FUSAG, existed only in radio traffic and reconnaissance photographs. Divisional signals units transmitted fabricated operational orders. Inflatable Sherman tanks sat in open fields where German reconnaissance planes could photograph them. Dummy landing craft bobbed in the Thames estuary. Fake logistics chains generated supply records for units with no men. And commanding this ghost army, Patton, the one American the Wehrmacht most feared and most expected to lead the decisive blow. When his name appeared in FUSAG operational traffic, it confirmed everything German intelligence already believed. Calais, the main attack, still coming. 2 Panzer divisions, the 1st SS and the 12th SS, held in reserve near the Calais coastline, waiting for an army that did not exist. On a beach 150 miles west, men were about to die in surf that was entirely real. Ask yourself what this actually required. The deception planners could not test their work. They would not know if it held until the moment it had to hold. And there was one move left, a move that could destroy everything they had built. June 5th, 1944, 3:30 in the morning. Garbo contacts his German handler in Hamburg with an urgent transmission. His message is precise. His sources have confirmed movement. The invasion is happening now, tonight. The target is Normandy. He is handing them the truth. His MI5 handlers had timed this with surgical precision, early enough that Garbo's credibility would survive the landing, late enough that no operational commander could act on it. The message reached the duty officer at German Army Group B at 6:25 in the morning. The first Allied wave had already touched the beach. He forwarded it up the chain. Hitler was asleep. Standing orders. Do not wake the Führer for unconfirmed field reports. No one made the call. The Panzers did not move. The knife edge held. But the crisis was not over. Garbo had survived. His credibility with Berlin was intact. He had just proved his accuracy on the most important night of the war. Now came the second half of the gamble. Garbo would tell Berlin that Normandy was the feint, that FUSAG was still assembling in Kent, that Patton's blow was still coming at Calais. If Berlin believed him this time, the deception was complete. If they didn't, 2 Panzer divisions would roll southwest within hours. The 15th Army's intelligence officers were trapped inside their own credibility. They had told Hitler it would be Calais. Now their most trusted source, the agent who had just proved his accuracy to the hour, was confirming Normandy was a diversion. To reverse the assessment meant admitting they had been managed from the beginning, that every report, every confirmation, every briefing delivered to the Führer was fiction. They held their assessment. They held their positions. For 47 days after June 6th, 19 German divisions remained at Pas-de-Calais, waiting for an attack that was never coming. Historians estimate that deception bought 6 to 8 weeks of operational freedom at the precise window when a coordinated Panzer counterattack could have driven the Allied bridgehead back into the sea. The deception did not support the Normandy campaign. The deception was the campaign. The history books record 160,000 men on 5 beaches. The classified files record the men who kept 2 Panzer divisions staring at inflatable tanks in Kent, and 1 Spaniard who handed Berlin the truth, timed to the minute, precisely so his next lie would never be questioned. The rubber tanks in Kent were deflated and stacked in a warehouse in July 1944. The Phantom Army was disbanded, the lie was retired, and the 15th Army was still waiting.